Welcome to the Boss Gambling Show on the internet. This is the home of the money pig. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Super Bowl week live call-in show. I'm happy to see all of you. And I just want to say thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for sharing the videos. Big shout out to everyone on Patreon. I appreciate all of you guys. It's the reason why this channel is able to go on, able to stay strong, and able to get money. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Listen, man, I don't want to kill anyone's vibe, but I have to be honest with you guys. I'm not too excited for the Super Bowl. Now, I've always had this melancholy type feeling once we get, to the championship round, once we get up there. But just something is extra melancholy about this Super Bowl, if you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm seeing a lot of stuff in the live chat. Dave Greenberg, what's up, John? Happy Friday. Just was reading your messages on Instagram, Dave. Hope you're doing good, man. SBO Kennels, Jalen Hurts, MVP. I think that was the one I felt like was the best risk reward when I was looking at the props. Yeah, Jay Kick says me neither. Yeah, I'm just not excited for it. And I'm going to go into why I don't like the direction the league's going. There's a lot of things that had been bothering me, and they've exploded this week. Just that pushed me over the limit, and I'll talk about it. I'll go into full refrain on it. I just didn't want to kill anyone's vibe this week because when we look at the Super Bowl, we have to be honest, man. It is like a national holiday at this point. And I don't want to shit on anyone's Christmas. I don't want to shit on anyone's July 4th. These are special days that you don't get back once they pass. But there's just something very melancholy about this Super Bowl. This one doesn't really pop as much to me. And with some of the way games have been decided this year, you do wonder. And when we look at Super Bowls, I want everyone to remember before they bet the damn thing, Super Bowls are not a regular football game. Firstly, listen, last year they had The Rock on the middle of the field doing like the WWE hype stuff. Was it funny? Yes. Is that like a regular football game? No. But here's the big thing. NFL games already have commercials. Players are used to being on the sideline. They're used to having a long time between plays. But in the Super Bowl, they add in more commercial times. A few of them are actually longer than normal. You can go look this up. Another thing is the 45-minute halftime. That halftime can really hurt rhythm. And we know a lot about this league is getting rhythm, getting momentum. And you do see teams hurt coming out of that halftime in the Super Bowl. So I just want everyone to remember that. One thing I like betting in the Super Bowl, I like betting the under in the third quarter. That's one thing I like to do. I'm betting the over in the fourth quarter. If you are looking for bets, if you are desperate for bets, those are two I will look at. I think those hit 9 out of 10 times. Okay, yeah, let me get to the Patreon questions. I want to get to your questions in the live chat as well. We're gonna get people on tonight. I'm gonna start with getting Dion on. Then Michael Zhang says he wants to come on. So, and then I wonder if Lauren and Mike will be here. I'm not sure about their schedules. All right. DeAndre Pittman. What are some good props to focus on? Yeah, DeAndre, you're on Patreon. I will be posting prop bets. I have to give my Patreon people some love. Last week, we were 3-1 on prop bets. We've been pretty good all season on the prop bets. I got 3 in the barrel for Patreon. maybe one more. I'll be posting them late tonight. But here are some ones I was thinking of off the top of my head. Firstly, I really like Jalen Hurts for anytime touchdown. I think he'll run one in. If we're looking at the Eagles this year, a lot of their red zone running game is Jalen Hurts. I mean, he hasn't featured as much when we're talking 20 to 20, but when the Eagles get to the red zone, they try to pound it up with him, especially when they're desperate, especially when the defense is giving him resistance. I know some people are looking for some really crazy bets. One I've seen a lot. It's not crazy. It's completely normal bet. Is Pat Mahomes to win Super Bowl MVP? I can't go that far, man. It's at plus 130, plus 140 on some bucks. I can't go that far. I liked the guy in the live chat who said Hurts for MVP. I think that's a better bet, and I think that's better value. And when you break down this game, I mean, listen, this year has been absolutely crazy. We don't know how the flow of the game's going to go. We don't know if we're going to get any consistency. But if we look at these teams, if we look at it from player to player, offense and defense, I think the Eagles should win this game by like 7 or 10 points. And you got to think that would open up the situation for Jalen Hurts. Like people are saying in the chat, man, it seems like, oh, this is a setup for Mahomes poster board style. Let's make him our new Tom Brady. I get it. I hate that we have to think this way about this league, but there was some stuff that happened. There's some stuff that happened last week in that Chiefs-Bengals game 2 weeks ago. There was stuff that happened in that Chiefs-Bengals game that I don't have an explanation before. I don't have an explanation for some of the shit that went on in that game. Alistair Hall with the $2 super chat. What's up, Lost in the Goat? Thank you, Alistair. Hope you're having a great day, man. I hope everyone's having a good Friday. Alistair Hall, do you think this Super Bowl is going to be rigged? I was waiting until we got more people before I got into this. I think it's a I'm not saying rigged. I'm not saying rigged. But I am saying that I do think the calls will favor the Chiefs in this one. I do think we're going to see a few 1st and 10 holds on the Eagles. JSAP, I was talking with JSAP. What's up, JSAP? I was talking with JSAP, man, and you guys know I always respect his opinion, and he kind of agreed with me. Like, the Eagles are just a better team, top to bottom, and there's too much focus on Mahomes going into this game, not enough focus on the rest of the players. But the Eagles should really dominate this game. I mean, especially with the way the Eagles start in games. I mean, one thing we always see with the Chiefs, we see them go down. We've seen them go down early quite a bit during the last 3-4 years. And the Eagles are a team you don't want to start slow against. And we know this Eagles defense, they play a lot better when they have a lead. I'm not trying to just throw out sound bites like that. You guys know that. If that Eagles defense gets a lead, their pass rush can be absolute lethality. If that's even a word, is lethality a word? So, but I do think we're going to see some offensive holding calls on the Eagles. I do think we're going to see some 1st and 17, some 2nd and 22 for the Eagles. I do think we're going to see some situations like that, especially because I'm going to make an opinion right now. Listen, I could believe the Chiefs could come and win this game. I would not be shocked if they do it. They have the elite quarterback, and we know that can absolutely tilt games. But I could not see a Chiefs blowout coming. But there is a possibility. There is an avenue for the Eagles to blow the living hell out of the Chiefs. And I don't think the NFL wants to let that happen. I don't think they do, Alistair. And they will do what they need to do. They will give a team 4 or 5 downs. They don't even have the courtesy to throw the flag, the illegal contact. It's when it's like 3rd and 13, and it looks like it's for sure punt, incomplete pass, then illegal contact for 5 yards, come, new sets it down. We're not even doing that anymore. We're just giving Mahomes 5 or 6 downs, and if you don't like it, shut up. That's where we're at in this league. The officiating has deteriorated to a point where it's even hard for me to use the word rigged. It's hard for me to use the word rigged when I look at some of the bad officiating, the bumbling that's going on with the league office. And I'm going to tell you guys one thing that really got me mad this week. Those of you who followed me on Instagram know. Listen, I don't get triggered a lot. I'm a pretty calm guy. You guys probably think due to the videos I'm around yelling all the time and I'm always in a bad mood. No, I'm in a really good mood, and it takes a lot of bullshit to bother me. But one thing that really got under my craw this week, ladies and gentlemen, was when Goodell was saying the NFL doesn't have an officiating problem. They don't. It's better than ever. It's just because there's a big microscope. He just said it's better than ever. And that's the biggest lie ever. They're using the NFL they're using the old NBA strategy. Before they caught Tim Donaghy in the NBA, we would see a lot of ticky-tack fouls, a lot of weird fouls where there was no contact, just a whistle for a whistle. We would see things like that, not crazy flipping games, but little things. If you follow the spread that you might be able to notice. It's been death by 1,000 cuts. You guys remember the old NFL, like, here's one of the biggest calls they ever missed. It was a Monday night game. Okay, this is like 6, 7, 8 years ago. But the officiating was better back then, by the way. It was a Monday night game. It was at the Seattle Stadium, Packers versus Hawks. Hawks ended up winning the game with a Hail Mary. It wasn't really a catch. It was called a catch. And that was one of the biggest missed calls in NFL history. We haven't had any smoking guns, but we've had death by 1,000 cuts. And anyone who's watched these games, and this isn't going to happen in Atlanta against Carolina. This happens in the high leverage situations when there's tons of money on the table. That's when it's been happening. Prime time, eyeballs, 4:30 time slot, national game. That's when it's been happening. That's where it's been happening. And the Super Bowl has always been a little fuzzy. But your boy has always accepted it because for most of the time, this has been a fair league. The officiating wasn't great, but it wasn't NBA tier. I got to say, as a whole, I bet you guys got me watching a little bit of NBA now that NFL's over. I got to say, man, I think overall NBA officiating is better than NBA officiating is better than NFL officiating. And it breaks my damn heart to hear that, to even say that, to even have that thought penetrate in my mind. It breaks my heart. But that's where we're at. And I used to come on here and tease you NBA bettors and say how you bet this junk, Tim Donaghy, all that stuff. But, maybe you're getting the last laugh right now. That's where we're at, man. And I love this game. And you guys know how much I love football. And it's disappointing that we even have to have these conversations. Because I used to always shoo these conversations off because there wasn't enough evidence. There's going to be bumbling calls. We all accept part-time refs are going to miss calls, but it never got that bad. And I appreciate all of you guys. Corey sent in a super chat. Let me just bring that up. Corey Silver, thank you, my man. Thank you, Corey. Nice piece of facial hair, too. Jay, I saw the injury report, Jay. Here's the health status for the Chiefs receivers. I don't think Juju's going to. I think Juju's going to play. I question what percentage he's going to be at. I heard Rappaport talking today. He was saying like 95, 90% for Juju. I think it's more near like 80%. I think he's going to get out there. Now, my big question is what's going on with Kadarius Toney? If I had a bet, I don't think Kadarius Toney's going to be a factor. And I think that's a big blow for the Chiefs. Because one area where you can work against the Eagles, I think you have to short pass against them. I think you have to limit their pass rush. Now we know the Chiefs have a pretty good offensive line, especially if we're expecting them to pass block. But listen, if this Eagles defensive line knows it's going to be pass, if Reed doesn't get the run pass balance right, I think this Eagles defensive line can have a huge impact on the game, and I think they can wear this Chiefs offensive line down. If you can't run the ball, then you better get some wide receiver screens. You better get it out hot, get that defensive line mad, so to speak, or frustrated. Kadarius Toney, I think, is a big factor in this game. I don't think he's going to play. I believe Juju plays. I think Kadarius is going to be out. And DeAndre, just to get back to your Patreon question, my man, just to get back to it, the prop I like the most is one we hit last week. I told you 2 weeks ago. The one I told you to get this whole playoffs, whatever game it is, give me the Dallas Goedert over reception yards. When I saw it earlier today, it was at 49.5. I think he's going to be a factor. And I love A.J. Brown. I love Devontae Smith. I love Jalen Hurts running read option. But I think the best connection out of all the pass targets for the Eagles is Goddard to Hurts. I think they have the most symbiosis. It's not like Mahomes, Kelsey level symbiosis, but it's up there. And I have to say, we're talking about underrated players all the time. I think Dallas Goedert is one of the most underrated players in this league. And I think the Eagles are going to have a clear plan of action to get him involved in the game. And I actually think the Eagles offensive passing game could struggle if he's not involved. So I absolutely love that one. What's up, Tasha? What's up, Campbell? What's up, Doc? Well, Doc, what can you do, Doc? What can you do? Doc says I had a Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl bet, never been so heartbroken after a game like that. But what can you do? You did the work, you did the research, and we saw what transpired that game. And, I didn't have a Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl ticket waiting for me. But as a man who loves the NFL and loves this game, we have to be a little bit frustrated by that officiating performance. And that's me talking nicely and politically. Okay, let's get to the next Patreon question. Warren Flowers says, I'm liking the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and the overs. And yes, I do see a lot of people liking the Chiefs, but most of them are Chiefs fans, and no one's really given me a legitimate reason why the Chiefs would win. Now, this year, is that a problem? No, because we've seen some of the craziest results I've ever seen in the NFL, and there hasn't been a whole lot of consistency this whole damn year. I do think the Eagles are the better team. I think the Eagles are better on the offensive line. I think the Eagles will run the ball better. But also, Mahomes and the Chiefs got a fighting chance. They got Big Red Andy Reid. We always have a little bit of questions about Sirianni. But one thing we can't question about Sirianni is he's going to have his dogs ready to go out there and ready to bite. Will he have the play design? Because I think if the Eagles have a good play design, a good offense game plan and script, I think they can absolutely run through the Chiefs. I would not be surprised if this game could get ugly. But when you have Mahomes, you're always in a game. You always got a puncher's chance. Like you guys were talking about on the chat, I do think the Eagles are entering this game more healthy. I am a little bit worried about some of the injuries to the Chiefs wide receiving core. And let's be real about something. That Chiefs wide receiving core is already thin to start with. And I felt like one of the things that has put this Chiefs team over the edge was the addition of Kadarius Toney. I think Mahomes needs him this game. This Eagles defense looks like it's getting better, and we know how to attack the Eagles defense. I think you got to run the football against them, man. I think you got to run the football against them, and the Chiefs aren't the team to do that to anyone. The old cozy pickle. What's up, pickle? Hope you're having a good day, man. Hey, John, I have a few props on like, what do you think? McKinnon over 20 and a half receiving yards. I like it. Although I think that will hit, and Jerick McKinnon's a very, very underrated player. One, I liked a little bit more than that because I did like the McKinnon when I was looking today. I did like the Isaiah Pacheco over 69 and a half rush yards and pass yards combined. I repeat, the 69 and a half is for Pacheco, over 69 and a half rush and pass yards combined. I saw on my book, I saw on 2 of the 3 books I have. Let me know if you can get that, but I would not smug my nose at 20 and a half for McKinnon. Boston Scott over 8.5 rushing yards. I think that's very interesting. I'm a big Boston Scott guy. If he gets, listen, I think if Boston Scott gets 3 carries, he's going to get that. I think that's worth a dice roll. Make sure you put that with something else as well, though. And the Colsey Pickle says, I also want to fade the public and take the under. Yeah. My gut on this is the under. I think it's going to go under. I don't have a great read on it. But I think this game does go under. I don't disagree with you there. I don't disagree with you there. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Here we go. Yeah, I like that Boston Scott one, Mike. I felt like that's a good idea because I'm surprised it's that low. And we know the Eagles' run game distribution is always a little bit, how can we say it, unpredictable. I think it's just that low to the unpredictability. But it's not like Miles Sanders is an absolute stud that, he needs to get 20 carries. I mean, at times, the last 2.5, 3 years, Boston Scott's looked better than Miles Sanders. Yeah, J Sup says he took that at 7.5. Okay. Yeah, there's just something about it that says, listen, I don't know if the NFL is going to let it be a blowout. I don't think they will. But the Eagles, if there's any team in the league that can blow a team the fuck out of the building, that can run them out the building, it is the Philadelphia Eagles. No team has started faster in this league. No team has started faster. Look at how many times we hit Eagles first half this year. No one has a better starting script of plays than the Philadelphia Eagles in this league. The Vikings were close statistically, surprising. The Titans were close statistically, but no one was equal to the Philadelphia Eagles. I like the Philadelphia Eagles bet in the first half as well this game. And Chiefs are a team that, listen, even when they're playing good, even when they're playing their best ball, they fall behind in games. They do. Chi-Town Feats, worst rough group out there on Sunday. It's going to be a long game, y'all. I completely agree. I'm just worried about it, man. I'm worried about it. Like I said, like I can't come on here and lie to you. Like the NFL is a big reason why I even have some semblance of a life. Let's be honest about it. I wouldn't mix too good in a 9 to 5 right now. We don't need to lie about it. But Dude, I'm not excited for the Super Bowl because I just want to see a good, clean, fair football game, and we just aren't getting that. We just aren't. Um, Rake Flyer, the American Gaming Association estimates that a record 50.4 million people in the U.S. will bet on the Super Bowl. Yeah, but I do think the Super Bowl is going to be. They're estimating the highest rated Super Bowl ever. I would bet the under on that. RG88 lost to the Eagles. Come out big first half, then shut down second half, and the Chiefs come back. Yeah. That's what I think's gonna happen. Like, I'm still picking the Eagles. RG, I gotta pick the better team. I mean, they're better on the defensive line, they're better on the offensive line, they're better in the secondary. They're equal on the defensive line. They got a better pass rush than the Chiefs. Hurts, a lot of people are gonna just try to say, well, Hurts can't strap in Mahomes' jock or whatever phrase they want to use. But Hurts is a damn warrior. I think everyone's forgetting that. And he has the run option. I don't think Mahomes is going to be scrambling all that much. And I do think what I said 2 weeks ago before the Bengals game is relevant. The Chiefs just don't get a lot of big plays in the pass game. They don't get a lot of those 30, 40-yard explosive plays that the Eagles get. And the way that the Chiefs were able to get those without Tyreek Hill was Mahomes rolling right, Mahomes scrambling, Mahomes making shit happen. I don't think that Mahomes' ankle is going to be full force. I just don't see it. But the problem with the Super Bowl is when you get a 40, 45-minute break for the halftime show, sometimes more, sometimes less, it kills rhythm. So if you're up in the game, it can absolutely kill you. Now, another example. Remember, Kaepernick's 49ers and the Ravens. Ravens were beating the shit out of them. It was like 24-3. We came out of halftime, and then the lights went off. Then there was a power failure. Big, long break, and we saw the 49ers almost win that game in a comeback. I think we see something like that. Not to the extent, but I do think we see a Chiefs comeback. I mean, anyone watch a Chiefs-Chargers game the last 4 years? I've seen the Chiefs come back so many times, and like I was mentioning before, there's very few teams in this league who have put out the consistent first half performances that the Philadelphia Eagles have. That's where we're at. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, let me see. Listen, man, I haven't seen anything too explosive from the Chiefs. Like, I just said how the Chiefs get their long passing plays. It's Mahomes rolling around to the right for 8 seconds. I don't think he's going to be able to do that with a bum ankle. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I just don't. It hasn't stopped the Chiefs from winning a game, but did they really deserve to win that game last week? Did that Chiefs offense play good? I mean, did they? Doesn't there have to be a price to pay for losing Tyreek Hill eventually? That's where I'm at. Yeah, Michael Mann says, who's going to block Hassan Riddick? I think that is a fair question. And this Chiefs team has spent so much money on offensive line, and they don't really block the run game well. And I don't think they're top 5 in terms of pass blocking either. I think the Eagles can get to them. We'll see how it goes, though. Like I said, I think the Eagles are going to have more penalties called on them. That's what makes this game spicy. That's what makes this game dangerous. And one thing with the Eagles, they can be hot. They can be as hot as a team can get, and then they can go cold. But maybe that Eagles run game is something the Chiefs aren't ready for. Spagnuolo's a great defensive coordinator, so I won't rule anything out. I mean, RG was giving Spagnuolo tons of flowers the last 2 weeks, and you saw how that went against the Bengals. Dial up good stuff, even with all the controversy in the game. I mean, so you never want to count Steve Spagnuolo's defense out. I mean, but at a certain point, we can all admit, like, the Eagles got more explosion, they got more dogs. Like, who would you rather have, like AJ Brown or Juju Smith-Schuster? Who would you rather have, Mecole Hardman or Devontae Smith? Who, you know, and you got Travis Kelsey, but there's only so much times they can just throw it on a stick route to him. Like, you know, they're not playing Jacksonville. The Eagles will try to make things a little bit difficult. Here we go. Lino Frosto. What's up, Lino? Thank you for subscribing on Patreon, my man. Yo, what's good, Lawson? Hope all is good with you and the fam. I'm looking to bet some props, but nothing really stands out. What are you thinking? I want to bet the coin flip, but with my luck, that fucker will land standing up. I did take Kenny to play one offensive snap at plus 400 last week on my book. Lino, I will be posting props on Patreon. I'm saving three for us. I might have a fourth. But since I already said it on the show, bro, I'm going Goddard over 49.5 pass catching yards. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, dude, that's the whole point. Hardman is out. The Chiefs' whole injury course is quite injured. And I'm sick of talking to Chiefs fans or Eagles fans about the game. Because you guys get all worked up, get all emotional about your teams like it's your wife walking out and cheating in front of you. Don't bet your team. If you believe your team's going to win, then you believe your team's going to win. You think I think the Vikings would beat the 49ers? A lot of Vikings fans thought this year we were better than the 49ers. Everyone thinks their team's going to win. And no one wants to hear a little bit of truth. No one wants to hear that the Bengals were robbed last week. No one wants to hear that. Who's a Chiefs fan? You wear your red. They wear their orange. I root for red. You got to look at stuff 50-50 down the middle. That's how you bet. That's how you get money, and stop getting emotional about it. Don't bet your own team. And this isn't a flag waving show. This isn't like my team's better than your team. My quarterback's dick is bigger than your quarterback's dick. No, it's about watching the games. Yeah, man. And with all the officiating errors in this, it since like week 8 this year, like, you got to kind of look at it and say, like, this title is a little bit tinted, man. And can I, it's just now that I'm pissed off, am I the only one who's sick of the Kelsey brothers? And I'm not even a hater. I'm not even one to get triggered. But am I the only one to get sick of the Kelsey brothers? Like, they live in my algorithm. I don't even spend a lot of time on the internet. But every single time I got to hear about the Kelsey brothers, I think they're corny. It's just, I'm just sick of hearing about the Kelsey brothers. I'm just not into this Super Bowl. I'm just not into the Super Bowl. And yes, I'll be taking gas. I will be taking gas. I'm just not into the Super Bowl, dude. And I don't know if there's that many bigger football fans than me. I'm just not into it this year, this Super Bowl. I'm just not into it. Yeah, Alistair, I'm quite mad. RG, I'll get to your question on Patreon. My bad about that, my friend. My bad. RG88. Let's talk about both teams' offensive strategy. Chiefs have now taken Hilaire off IR, so do they try to run the ball with Hilaire and Pacheco more than usual to keep the Eagles' offense off the field? RG, I think the Chiefs need to run it more. But I've been saying that for years, and they always seem to be able to win games. And if I had to bet on the Chiefs to run, I would bet no. But I think they should. And I think the way you want to attack this Eagles defensive line is you want to run it. You got to at least give this Eagles defensive line run pass balance, right? I mean, because the strength of this Eagles defense is getting a lead, letting the other team throw it on them, and then they get a great pass rush. And then they win the game, get turnovers that way. But I think you're 100% right from an offensive stylistic perspective. Chiefs got to have run pass balance. If they don't feel like they can move them, then the Chiefs have to sling the ball out, use the screen game. Screen game hasn't worked all that good against the Eagles this year, but you would think it could be effective just due to how aggressive the Eagles defense can get, especially that defensive line, the front four. Okay, let me take the second part of your questions. Yeah, well, for me, man, and you're talking about keeping Hurts and the Eagles off the field. I don't feel like this Chiefs offense is all that explosive, and a lot of the passing game is underneath. A lot of the passing game is underneath. That's what I look at. So I think either way, the Chiefs are going to control a little bit the time of possession. But I think your whole point stands that the Chiefs should be running the ball. I've been asking Andy Reid to run the ball more for 6 damn years. He might have won a ring with the Eagles when he was a coach if he ran it more, but that's a different story for a different day. Also, with the Eagles offense, do the Eagles run more also? Or do you think it's more passing game? Which also brings to my main point, the over-under is 50.5. What do you think? I think it's going under, and that's what I expect this week. I expect a lot of running the ball from the Eagles. I think they gotta. I think they gotta keep. I think it's more about the Eagles keeping the Chiefs off the field, my friend. Like that's what I think it's about. And this Eagles run game is one of the most consistent run games in the league. I don't think it's the best in the league. But I do think it's one of the most consistent. This Eagles offensive line is big and nasty and athletic. And I think I think Hurts is going to have a big game. Could someone put his player prop over under rush yards in the chat, by the way? I think Hurts has a big game running it. I think we see a lot of read option. On Patreon last week, I bet the under on the Hurts rushing yards. This week, I'm going over. I don't care what they're setting it at. I don't care because I think Hurts is going to run the ball. I think the Eagles run it a ton. But I think the Eagles are going to try to run it, get play action, get explosive plays. I also like the under 31.5 Jalen Hurts pass attempts. Like, yes, like we know Hurts, he throws it underneath a lot. And sometimes that's kind of like a run in and of itself. And we've seen games where Hurts is throwing it a lot. But I'm going under on his pass attempts too, because you kind of got me thinking about that. I do think we're going to see a heavy dose of run game, man. Okay. Here we go. Next Patreon question. Good question, RG. Okay, here we go. Let me get to the next question. Make sure you hit the like button. Where did my fucking Patreon questions go? Did I delete it? Sorry about this. 1 second. Okay, here we go. I got him. Why am I not seeing it? Okay, I got it. Lino, I will be doing a recap show after the game, and there's some videos I need to make. There's some stuff that I'm getting off my chest about the state of the league Monday morning. So that'll be in high gear, man. I'm doing videos. Going to do more this off season, but listen, I'm feeling good about the soccer bets on Patreon this week. I'm feeling fucking good, man. And there's another one I'm adding to the mix tonight. Once I see the lineup, I'm feeling good about soccer this week as well. Yeah, and you guys know I try to stay even keel, but I'm feeling good about the soccer bets this week. Mike 87, am I crazy thinking Casey will win this game going away? I don't think you're all that crazy, but I don't think it will happen. Inexperienced quarterback, inexperienced head coach against a battle-tested team on the biggest stage. I can see the moment being too big for Philly. I mean, if we talk like that, and any team, the Houston Texans almost beat the Chiefs because they didn't show up. If a team doesn't show up, then there's not much you can do. There just isn't. So if you're saying like you think the Eagles can crack under the pressure, which we've seen happen in Super Bowls, but it doesn't happen in recent Super Bowls. Like, that's kind of like an NFL history thing. Like, the Super Bowl used to always be a blowout. Like, some teams even won Super Bowls by like 40, 50 points. And that was just like how it was every year. There's not a lot of teams that don't show up for the Super Bowl. The last like 7, 8 years, they all seem to be one-score games. I mean, there might be one in there that was a blowout, but I do think the Eagles show up, and it's because of the running game. Like, I could see Hurts being a little bit off. Like, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing I've seen in my entire life. But that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. I do think the Eagles show up. But, I mean, your point still stands. Some people only bet the better quarterback. And I get it. Mahomes is better than Hurts. I'm not gonna debate that. Okay, here we go. Alistair Hall, Jalen Hurts over under 238 yards throwing. I would not touch that. I would lean towards over. I think it just barely goes over. That's not one I would bet. Did anyone find me the Hurts running yardage prop? Jazz, I'm going under in this game. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Kyle Canterbury, your prop video last year made me how the money. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, normally I try to keep doing it. The prop videos, we've been good on props this postseason. I'll get back to it next year. Listen, I just had to tell you guys, it's just not as excited for the Super Bowl as I was others. I'm just not all that excited about it. I'm excited about coming in and talking football, but some of these games, they're not really talking football. Hurts rushing is 49.5. I like that. I'm going over on that. Last week it was similar, right? What did I put on Patreon? What do we have on Patreon? Was it like under 46.5, under 45.5? But I do think Hurts gets one or two big runs. And I think we're going to see a lot of them in the red zone. That's why I absolutely love the Hurts anytime touchdown. Okay, let's get to another question. But yeah, Mike, you're completely rational. I mean, because this is a big moment, and the Super Bowl is a completely different game. Especially when you mix in the long-ass halftime show, The Rock in the middle of the field hyping everyone up. It is not a normal game. Clock and 4 kicks. What's up, Clock? Money, money, money. I like the Eagles and the under for sides. Yeah, man, I like the under. I know a lot of the actions on the over, but I like the under. This game opened at Eagles plus 1.5. All the sharp money came into Eagles early, and the line moved a bunch. I think all the late public money will come in on KC. Yeah, I think people are trying to hype KC up too, man. And I get it, better quarterback, but I'm not seeing a lot of evidence other than better quarterback. By kickoff, I could see this game being a pick 'em or Eagles -1. I don't know. I think we're good. I think it's going to leave where it's at. It's been stabilized at like -1.5 for a while. But yeah, if it's -1, I don't think that changes anyone's rationale. Do you think it makes sense to wait until the last minute to bet the Eagles? Also, what do you think about the MVS receiving prop? His total yards is under 40. I think he could get that in 1 or 2 catches. Case, dude, I think that's a good hidden gem you got. MVS. I think he's going to go over. Because, like you said, the Chiefs receivers are thin, and that's a really low number. Yes, is Valdez-Scantling that good a receiver? Absolutely not. But is he useful? Is he a big target? If the Chiefs don't get a lot of separation, could he get some 50-50 balls thrown up to him? Of course. I like that. I think that could probably hit. I think it'd probably hit. Yeah, and he could get that in 1 or 2 catches. But yeah, man, I would just suggest putting the Eagles in now, because if you're looking at a difference between -1, -1.5, for me, the difference isn't that big. Like if it was, let's say, -3 to -2.5, I would tell you to put that in right now. It's just not that key a number, and games really aren't decided by it. We do see games like decided by 1, decided by 2 points, but I always try to get off those key numbers. 3, 7, 10. Those are the numbers I don't like getting. No one likes that +3.5. No one likes that -3.5. We all love 3.5 with the hug. But yeah, man, I don't think it's at a key enough number for you to stress about. I think you should put it in. Although I would be curious if it did move down. I mean, or you could just go money line. The payout's not all that different. I was seeing money line is at -125 all week. Let me see what it's at now. It's at -120 on PointsBet. It's at -125 on BetGM, MGM. FanDuel's got it at -122. I don't think that's bad value for money. I don't think it is. Okay, let me see if we got any more Patreon questions that we're going to get guests on. Here we go. Okay, this is from Melissa. Let's see what Melissa's got to say. Melissa G14. Maybe I've watched too many movies and my imagination is conjuring plot twists. But will Mahomes be the ill-fated hero with one of his greatest weapons, his feet, shot down somewhere along the line, only to be staggering into the fourth quarter? A great quarterback he is, but there is a weak point. And what are the Chiefs without Mahomes? I think at some point it's going to break under pressure. We're all concerned with Hurt's shoulder, but I'm actually concerned with Mahomes' ankle. Yeah. And there's like a lot of talk after that Bengals game. Like I'm sure you saw some of the talk, Melissa. A lot of the talk was, did Mahomes exaggerate that ankle injury? Was he bluffing a little bit? I don't think so. Like he's had so many ankle injuries over the years, and the Bengals didn't hit him enough. And that was one thing I was surprised about that game 2 weeks ago. The Bengals didn't hit him enough, and I think Philly's going to get hands on him. And that was really the only thing that disappointed me and completely shocked me about the game. The Bengals just were not getting contact, not getting heat on Mahomes. And I don't advocate cheating, but why not take a roughing the passer to go low on him? Why not take a good hit at him when he's scrambling to the right? He runs so slow now with his ankle injury. He looks like Tom Brady running at this point. So that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. So I do think Mahomes has a chance to get banged up in this game, and I'm not fully sold on the ankle. I did forget Mahomes dislocated the ankle. I did forget that. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to get some people on now. Let me just send some links. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, Campbell, he can talk about Tom Brady in the chat. I love him, but I'm not gonna have him on again. We're good on that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, sounds good, Mike. Sounds good. My biggest play of the game, Matt, did you get that with rushing yards mixed in? Okay, let me just read it for people who are listening, because some people actually listen to this without watching. I love Jalen over 1.5 touchdowns. I assume that's for passing and not total. I would prefer, I wouldn't go that, because I don't know if anyone can back me up. But one thing about Hurts, especially when the Eagles are in high leverage situations, like if the Eagles are just blowing out the Giants, that's not really the proof we need. We need to go back to those games where they're actually tested. First half when games are close, we have to go back at those games. So I think the bet I liked the most would be Hurts anytime touchdown. I believe it's plus 100. And I think in the red zone, we're going to see a lot of Hurts running the ball. I do think we see that. And I think when the Eagles have had their backs against the wall, when the games have gotten sweaty and feisty, I think that's what they've done. I mean, with Hurts over 1.5, if we're talking passing touchdowns, then I'm just staying away from that one. Just staying away from it, because I think he runs one in and we can hit that. Yeah, no, thanks, Matt. I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, Ryan, I hope, yeah, because I didn't want to bullshit by anyone, because I saw the Hurts plus 100 anytime touchdown 2 days ago, but we know how props move, and these books feel very vulnerable to props. And the Hurts over rushing yards is interesting. I really like that one if it's a close game. I think maybe I got a little bit lucky in the NFC Championship when I hit that under bet for his rushing yards, because that game wasn't close. And why do you need to get Hurts? And then to go to Melissa's question, everyone's talking about Hurts' shoulder and everyone's talking about Mahomes' ankle. Like, for me, I'm more worried about Mahomes' ankle than Hurts' shoulder. Like, I think Hurts actually got proper time. And when we saw Hurts against the 49ers, he looked good. He looked vibrant. I didn't see anything holding him back. Yeah, Dion, I sent an invite if you want to come on. I got Pacheco over 1.5 receptions and 16.5. Yeah, I like that one. Like, I think that is a steal. You sent that to me earlier today. You ruined one of my Patreon ones. I stole from you, but I'm going 1.5 receptions. Like, I know McKinnon is technically a better receiving option out of the backfield, But I mean, come on, we got to think who's going to get the more plays. I know Edwards-Helaire coming back makes this a little bit feisty, but 1.5 receptions, and they use him a lot. These receivers are banged up. You got a good Eagles defensive line coming at you in waves. You got to think he gets at least 2 dump offs. You got to think. So, I get why people would think that's risky, but those ones have been hitting all year. Andrew says Eagles 37, Chiefs 30. Yo, that's a high-scoring game. NFL would love that piece of action. Okay. Eagles, okay, this is from Pack. Eagles exact margin of victory 11-31-1 odds. Are you holding a Superbowl square with a 1? Are you trying to wheel this in? Anyone play Superbowl squares? My dad loves those. My dad absolutely loves those. Anyone play those, or we should bet and props? Yeah. So let me tell you some props I was questionable about. Like I've seen a lot of people getting on this. Chiefs team total over 24.5 points. I'm not so sure that hook, because I've been saying most of the week, I think this is a 24-20 game, 24-21 game. I think it's in that range. I could see, I could see the Chiefs getting up to 27 if they're going to win the game, but I don't like people jumping on that Chiefs over 24.5, especially with that hook. That hook is dangerous. What's up, Dion?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Dude, I'm doing great. So yeah, man, tell us why you think the Pacheco one's going to hit.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched it up there for me whenever I left that comment in chat. I mean, I don't see a very good running game coming out of the Chiefs here, but I definitely see the front seven of the Eagles obviously just being high pressure all night, with those long commercial breaks too. I think their pass rush should stay pretty heavy. I just really don't see Mahomes getting a lot of time to throw the ball, so it's going to force him into quick check down passes, and it's just going to be easy gravy yard for Pacheco to pick up. He's also a really slept on player. He's probably started out having a rough season because he had like four fumbles, I think, on special teams when he was doing punt returns, and I believe he still is their punt returner, but he's just really cleaned up a lot of his dirty play throughout the year. He's gotten a lot better, and I think they're starting to rely on him a little more, especially with Mahomes being hurt, because a lot of people are acting like he might be faking his injury and stuff like that, and that's just definitely not
That's
true.
garbage. That's garbage. Like, they don't understand Toradol. I got a Toradol shot in my shoulder one time. This stuff really does work. Although,
Yeah,
credit to
for
him
sure.
playing with a high ankle sprain, that's wild, man.
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw how Mac Jones reacted whenever he got carried into the locker room.
It
I
was
mean,
bad.
it's the same type of injury.
I got
But
to ask you a question. Are you
what's up?
excited about the Super Bowl?
I mean, I don't feel like it's a Super Bowl that I'm gonna take a lot of pride in watching. I don't want to say I'm not necessarily excited to watch football because I always love watching football, you know. But with the officiating that has gone on and the questionable calls that has sent people on the road to victory, not saying that that wins them the game, but it definitely makes it a little bit easier. And I just don't feel like I'm getting the matchup that was deserved. I'm not saying that I'm a Bengals. Obviously, I'm not a Bengals fan, but
Yeah.
I don't think this matchup is gonna be a good enough game, even though it is the Super Bowl. Like I just see the Eagles winning by 10. Like if this was a regular season game, I think they're a way better, way more physical team. They're way cleaner around the edges. like where their ball protection is great. They don't get sacked. They don't lose yards. They don't give up the deep ball. They don't give up long explosive runs. And the only thing that they're really lacking is like backfield passes. Like whenever that front seven's not getting to that rushing time, and like they're letting people slip, and like the other team's winning that one-on-one, like those are the plays they're giving up 15, 16 yards, not the plays where they're in coverage and everyone's like bottled up. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
what's getting crazy. Like the Eagles defense is getting better throughout the year. And then like I saw people on the live chat saying like, oh, the Eagles had a Mickey Mouse run to the Super Bowl. I actually can't debate that. But
right.
listen, like it wasn't luck knocking out Brock Purdy. They hit him 4 or 5 times, and if you hit the quarterback, you can win games. Like so, we can't take anything away. And then, like you said with the Chiefs, it's been under my craw. Like I gotta be honest. Out of all these like year of the Chiefs, like 5, 6, 7 years they've been good. This has to be the worst team they've had.
I definitely agree with that statement.
Like, and then like you said, I agreed to say when I was talking to you earlier today, you said Eagles by 10. That's probably where it's at, and that's was my inclination the whole time. 7 minimum, 10 is probable. Like that's what I was thinking the whole week, but we can't even bet a game because we know it's going to be a complete different circumstance in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl especially. I mean,
there's way more hype behind it. These professional players get way more motivated to play football. People that don't normally perform are probably going to perform because the ones that are the best are going to be heavily guarded. They're the ones that are going to get the most attention that game. So Super Bowl is time for people that are nobodies to step up. And the Chiefs, the scary thing about them, like with that statement that I just made,
they
is
got a lot of nobodies. Like
so
David Tyree getting that catch to break like Tom Brady's perfect season. It's just that's where we're at.
yeah. I don't know. I definitely don't think we got the matchup we deserve, but I do think it'll be a good game. And on any given Sunday during the regular season, Eagles by 10, but in the Super Bowl, anything could freaking happen, man. So, be wise with your money.
Yeah, dude, be wise. Yeah, well, be wise with it. Yeah, any other props you liked, or I let you go?
Let me look at the website real quick because I do have it pulled up here. There
Yeah,
was.
and let me talk about this when you're looking.
Yeah.
Eagles first half team total over 12.5. JSAP, I'm surprised it's that low because the Eagles first half this whole year, they put up 14 or 17 damn near every game.
Yeah.
I
just. Sorry. Here, babe, go by. So, girlfriend's walking through the house. Had to make sure that nothing.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want around here.
Yeah. But anyways, the first half props. Yeah, the Eagles have absolutely been a first half predominant team this year, and I could definitely see them putting up 13, but I think the Chiefs will probably come out strong in the first half playing defense, and it'll be a comeback game. I don't know if you saw that script that was leaked, but it's probably a fake. Like, obviously it's fake, you know what I mean? But I really like what that was saying about how the Chiefs come out hot and then the Eagles have to play catch up, which, would be a likely story, but I don't know. I definitely
If
see.
it's real football, if it's what
Yeah.
went on this season, Eagles, like, listen, there's been no better team with the script the whole year. We've been watching this the whole year. We're one of the few people who actually talk about the first 15, 20 scripted plays of the game that the offensive coordinator puts out. No one's been better than the Eagles. Chiefs are like, what, 18, 20th in the league. They get better as the game goes on.
Yeah.
But I could see that. That's the crazy part about this. I could see anything happening, and I am worried about this. And I'm not saying the game's going to be fixed or anything like that.
Never.
But my my whole thing, man, was I just think we're going to see a lot of Eagles holding calls. We're going to see a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff on first and second down from the Eagles to make it a level playing field. I think that's what you get.
Yeah, a lot of 3rd and 9s that are defensive holding that end up in a first down.
Hell,
One
maybe we
thing,
can get them the Chiefs 5 downs again.
it was honestly crazy the way that Chiefs game ended because honestly, I just shouldn't even get it. I'm gonna focus on the Super Bowl, okay? Because there's one prop that I did want to also talk about, but it did go up, and you can do the alternate. It's still pretty good money. Dallas Goddard is at 49.5. He was at
That's what I've been
46 and a
saying all
half,
year.
but
Yeah. Go on. What do
no,
you want
no.
to alternate back that up? Do you want to like raise it to like 60 or something?
This one I'm trying to play it a little safer because since the alternate is at 40, because it goes 25, 40, 50, 60, 70, up to like 120 or something like that, I think. But usually I'm trying to play it safer, and I would combine these things with his receptions and his yards because those two stats go hand in hand. When it comes to the Chiefs linebackers, in the last 6 weeks, they have given up the most um, reception yards to tight ends. So I see Dallas Goddard definitely getting targeted here. Name me a single Kansas City Chiefs linebacker. Don't worry, I'll wait. So I definitely think that they'll be getting yards with the tight end in this game. He'll be very viable, Dallas Goddard. Maybe even get a double doink on a touchdown as well if you're trying to sprinkle something on that.
Well, because think about it, man. Chiefs play a lot of man-to-man now. Spagnuolo could change it up and play zone. Zone works into your favor because Goddard's a really smart player. That vape's awesome, by the way. And then the whole thing is, okay, so you got Devontae Smith and AJ Brown on both sides. Listen, everyone can criticize Hurts. For me, that warrants 2 safeties back. I'm not trying to fuck with them getting deep on me. So it seems like Goddard will get a linebacker matchup if the
For
Chiefs
sure.
play man-to-man. Right.
For sure. And once they get that run game going, the play action is going to be virtually unstoppable because they're going to be playing run heavy. They're going to have 8 in the box. They're going to have like 3 men deep one play. You're going to catch tight end on a seam play. Might get a touchdown, might get 30 yards. Who knows? But that's definitely something that you could expect. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say.
Yeah, answer this, my friend.
What's
This is
up?
from JPZ. Goddard more receptions than Kelsey. What's Goddard's reception at over this game? I guess
So
4.5 or
4.5, right? And then Kelsey is high.
they
He's
might
at
got him at 7.5.
you're right. They got him at 7.5, and I mean I see Kelsey getting targeted more. Does he get more receptions though? It's going to be close. I mean, I think Kelsey will probably get like 6 receptions, and Goddard will probably get 6 receptions too. It might be a tie. I hate to play Switzerland, but I could see it being a tie, honestly.
Well, yeah, man, and then plus he's got the better quarterback. Like for me, like I like putting that in a parlay. Not a big parlay guy, but I like putting that in a parlay.
Yeah,
Goddard
yeah.
over catches over yards. Roll with
If I
it.
could do so, I could give you a good 150 plus 3 leg prop teaser.
Let's
So
do it.
everything's so Jalen Hurts 40 rushing yards.
Like it.
Okay. Isaiah Pacheco 16.5, like I said. And then or no, take 16.5 off, 25 rushing yards, 25 plus. That's because that's his safe. He's at minimum the Chiefs have to rush for 40 yards at
I think
minimum.
he gets 10 carries for me. Like everyone's
And
talking about, oh, Hilaire's back, but like I think Pacheco gets at least 10 carries. Okay, we got Pacheco on the rushing yards. What was the
25
first?
plus. Jalen Hurts 40 plus rushing yards. And then the last one is Dallas Goddard 40 receiving yards. Those 3 right there.
Yeah. FanDuel's got that, right? You can put that in a parlay. That's a
Yep.
good one.
And then there's also there's a promotion going on this weekend for people that actually use FanDuel. Um, you have up to a $25 insurance bet. So if your odds are above 400, you can get your money back if your bet loses.
FanDuel's killing the game, man. And last, before you come on here, this is one I was watching the whole week, but I got to tell you, man, I'm not. Avon Fettendale's loving Kadarius Toney this week, and for me, I'm loving him in general. I just
Yeah.
don't know about his health. Like 28.5 is a steal, but we don't know about his fucking health.
Let me look.
Yeah, let's see if they made an adjustment. If they raise that up, then I think he's going to be healthy, full go. Because because I think the Chiefs need to use him. I think he's their most athletic wide receiver. Might be their most athletic player. It's not like a crazy athletic team.
Yeah, he early in the AFC Championship, he sustained an ankle injury, and they're putting him as full participation in practice. So I think that he should be fine. I mean, if Patrick Mahomes is out there with a bad ankle, I think he'll make his way onto the field as well. So
yeah, I'm going that, and I'm going under on Juju Smith-Schuster. I forgot the number, but I question his health. I don't know
30,
how much.
37.5 is Juju, minus 110.
Yeah, I'd probably go under on that.
Yeah, he hasn't been getting targeted much this postseason. If I'm aware of his stats
He hasn't
properly.
played good this whole year. Really soft. Eagles hit hard.
Yeah, he's had maybe like 2 or 3 games, but yeah, he's not trying to get hit. So he's like a catch the ball, fall to the ground type guy at this point in his career.
Yeah. And he's not even like a big body. So, any last words? I'll let you go.
Eagles money line. I'm riding with the nation on this one. Chiefs kind of fraudulent, TBH, but we'll see how the Super Bowl plays out.
Yeah, I got Eagles too. All right, Dion. I'll see you, man.
All right, bro. You take it easy. Have a good Super Bowl weekend. Be safe.
You too, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dion. I thought it was a good parlay. Thought it was a good parlay, man. He did hit one. I did see from proof. He did hit me to a parlay earlier this year. Like, one of those gigantic FanDuel parlays where you get like 6, 7 legs, sometimes 4, and they give you a little bit better odds. I did see him win one of those. He hit like a 3G one. I mean, that's like the new lottery ticket, but he knew what he was doing there. And sometimes you can get the advantage. Just don't bet a lot of money on those. Lauren, Mike, I sent the invites if you want to come on. I think Michael Zhang wanted to come on too. Since it's last call-in show of the year, might as well go heavy with the gas. Dion's awesome, man. He was on, I think he was on like 3 times this year. Always comes with good information. And plus, it's good. Like Michael Mann's a Panthers fan, so we don't hear much from that team. Dion's a Colts fan, so we don't hear much from them. And, if we're back in this league, we've got to stay as up to date as possible. Man. Okay, let's get Lauren on. Lauren, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Oh my God, I'm literally I'm in a monsoon right now, so I just got home. Luckily, I'm sitting in my car. So I've been listening to you guys. I haven't been able to comment much because it's been horrible weather, but yeah.
Yeah, I know we all want to stay focused on the Super Bowl, and we don't need to dwell on the past because that really is like the worst thing in sports betting you can do. But
right.
Do you have any words on what happened against the Bengals Chiefs? Like, did that feel right to you? Were you a little bit put off on it? Do you think maybe we're overreacting, that, there's some tomfoolery going on? I'm not saying the fixed word. I'm not putting on the aluminum foil hat or anything like that. But at best, it was clumsy officiating. At worst, it was pure malice.
I agree. they made the mistake by hitting Mahomes in the out of bounds. But I will tell you that whole blown down play, and I don't, you know what I mean? It is what it is, but I definitely feel they got shafted. I think they were the better team. Granted, they didn't play up to their standards, I don't think, but I think they played better than the Chiefs.
You know what? This is a hot take, but I don't think a football game should be allowed to end on a soft call like that. I mean,
I
at
agree.
the end of the day, that linebacker was trying his best, like just trying to make the play, and he cost his team a Super Bowl run. Like I don't like the game going in that direction. I think that's dumb.
No,
it is what it is. I mean, but no, I mean it is what it is. It's been like that since the beginning of time. But unfortunately, just like the coin flip, you know what I mean? It happened, and it sucks, but that's why I really don't think. You look at this Chiefs roster, and you hit the nail on the head. This is the worst roster that they've had since Mahomes has been there.
It's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, and the Bengals they're loaded. They didn't play to their potential. They really should have been up. I think more, and not had it come down to that. I really thought it was going to go into overtime, but I guess they're lucky they didn't have Dallas's kicker, right? So
yeah, and Mike made a good point too. Like because firstly, I know the people who make the rules never played an NFL game, and I've never stepped out there. I would never be able to step out there. But for heaven's sakes, it's really, really tough to get quarterbacks when they're out in space because you don't know if they're going to slide. You don't know. Some quarterbacks, even the soft quarterbacks, they started running guys over because you get so off balance, you don't know what to do. Like I think Mike's made a really good point on that. And then also, Lauren, before we get to this game, I just want to say, like, that one possession where the Chiefs got 5-6 downs, we had to play third down over again, and no one really knew why at the time. Like, that really, really bothered me. I've never seen a mistake that big in a game. But anyways, it happened.
Yeah.
The craziest thing about that is that it still ended up helping the Bengals because they got a sack on the next play. But yeah, that was BS. Like I believe the refs just made a mistake. I'm not gonna come on here and say it was rigged or anything, but it was still unacceptable for an AFC Championship game.
Anyways, yeah, who you guys got in the Super Bowl?
Philly.
Yeah, I got. Are you taking them with the spread, or you just going money line because there's not a big difference?
It's 1.5. It might as well be the money line. Might as well get every bang for your buck. I mean, so, or might as well take it with the 1.5. Whatever, take the 1.5. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I'll be honest with you. This game is going to come down to whoever has the ball last. And it has for the last 13 years. These two teams both kind of, in my opinion, had a Disney World cakewalk schedule in a way to put them there. And I'm going to go with the healthier player. I'm going to go with, Hurts and the healthier team. The injury list on this Chiefs team is worse than I've ever seen it.
It's bad. And it's across all levels of
and it's key players. Like, it's all the key players. Hardman, I don't think, is playing. The only person that was in question on Philly was C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and I think he's playing.
And Devontae Maddox, but he's in too.
Right, and he's playing too. So I'm going to go with the healthier team. I know that this Mahomes is a miracle man, but I just don't see the talent there as well as I do at Philly.
I will say that the Chiefs caught a major
opinion. I mean, it can go either way.
Yeah, Chiefs got a big help with Snead playing, with I can't say his name. Ladarius Snead playing in the game at corner, because he's the only one who I see that can really match up well with A.J. Brown, being that kind of like bigger, more physical style receivers. I don't think anyone else on the Chiefs really has the capability to contain Brown a little bit. But yeah, I also have the Eagles to win. But I will say I don't feel good about it at all. And I know I think we could all agree that Philly's the more talented team, but I can definitely see a pathway to victory for Kansas City, like that they can execute very easily if they choose to do it. And I feel like we're going to feel dumb when they end up winning.
Oh, yeah. Here's my thing. If the Eagles get early down penalties, then I think they lose the game and I think they could get dead. But if the Eagles don't have a lot of penalties against them, like if we don't see like 1st and 20s, 2nd and 17s, like I think this Eagles running game could take it over. And like Lauren said, and another guy said in the comment section, he said no one's talking about Casey's injuries. Like I actually haven't heard a lot of talk about it. Like I know like these guys aren't household names, but I was surprised I didn't hear much about it. I hear more about Travis Kelsey's mom.
Oh, Donna. I mean, the fact that I know her first name is absolutely insane. The fact that I know her name is Donna is
I think their dad is better. Ed. Good old Ed.
I mean, they had the woman, they interviewed her at the NFL Honors last night. You know.
Lawson, I know you hate him, but my God, you would love that podcast.
No, Mike, I don't spend a lot of time on the internet. I've seen it so many times,
dude,
and I never went out of my way looking for it. And I do think Travis, I like Jason Kelsey, actually. But I do think Travis is a bit of like a cornball, and I think he's one of those guys. He tries really, really tough, but it's a good podcast. But then again, like, should it be in my algorithm every single minute when I didn't subscribe to it?
Yeah,
or am I being wrong?
I mean, he's gonna be all over the. I mean, he, for crying out loud, he was on a dating show, reality show to try to find a wife. So I mean,
Lawson,
what's Catching Kelsey? Does anybody remember Catching Kelsey?
Mm-hmm.
It was like The Bachelor, but it was Kelsey.
Right.
Like a few
I
years
didn't
ago.
even know that existed.
Oh
Did you
my
guys see
God!
that there
I
was-
don't even know how.
I think last week, did you guys see there was a petition out there to get their mom to do the coin toss? And like 35,000 fans signed it like overnight.
I saw it.
As well.
Lawson, you would have lost your mind if they had done that.
Yeah, I definitely.
If Mama Kelsey had come out and done the toss.
Well, I mean, last year they had The Rock cutting a promo before the Super Bowl. Anything's possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's true. And you know, this game, to me, there's gambling to be had. And, you know, my biggest play, I'll be honest with you guys, is the first half over. I just think both teams are going to roll in the first half, especially Philly. That's their specialty. I think Mahomes will get it going in the first half too. But I think come the second half is maybe when Philly might pull, you know, I don't know if they're going to pull away or at least squeak it out, whatever happens. But I think the first half over is that's my opinion.
I like that. I like the Chiefs. I like the Eagles team total over, and
What is it 51 for the total? Is it
50 and a half, 51?
Didn't it start at 47? What do you guys think about that?
Under.
I think
under, right? You think the under?
I'm with the under. I was in between at first, but with how high it's gone, I'm at the over now. I mean, I'm with the under now. I just think Spagnuolo's going to have a plan to contain Hurts passing the ball. I don't think either team's going to hit a lot of big plays. I think I think both teams are really just going to limit the possessions. And even though I think both offenses will ultimately have like decent days, I don't think it's going to go over. They're just going to grind the game out, I think.
Yeah, I don't either. I agree.
Just to comment real quick, I think Mike's right. I don't think this is going to be as many possessions as people are saying. Like, I get the tendency for this. People think this turns into a shootout. I'm not going there, though, because the possession count.
I definitely think the first half over is the safe play, though. I like the first half.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and I want to comment on something else, like just to take the temperature of the room, people in the live chat, because you can obviously see with videos on YouTube and things along those lines, interest in the NFL does drop off a little bit with the Super Bowl. Let's be honest about it, but because there's only two teams playing. But my question is this: are you excited about the Super Bowl this year?
Me? Us?
I'm like,
I mean, here's the thing. I'm excited for a couple things. I'm excited to watch Travis Kelsey and his brother Jason. The reason why I'm excited to watch that, listen, they'll be on the field at the same time.
oh, I know where you're going with this. Hail Mary situation?
Yeah.
Dude,
So
please make that happen.
that's why I'm excited about this. Like, they could definitely be on the field. You know what I mean? So they'll be on the field together at the same time.
I hope that happens so bad. Lawson, are you tracking on this? So they were talking about this yesterday. They were talking about a scenario where it's like the Eagles are going for a Hail Mary at the end of the half. And Jason Kelsey's on the field playing a defense to, like, you know, be like the basketball, bat the ball down kind of guy. And he catches the Hail Mary, gets the interception on defense, runs it back, and it's him one-on-one with Jason Kelsey, and he's got to make the tackle. I hope it happens so bad.
I hope to God it happens too.
If you're on offense and you see that happen, you just need to, like, move. Like, get out of the way. This is one-on-one now. You got to let him make that tackle.
I think he would, actually. I think Jason Kelsey would bring them down.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He'd be out there.
Oh, I think he would bring him. I think he'd bring him down, like, not gently either. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, sorry, Mom.
I think Jason Kelsey is better at what he does than what Travis Kelsey does.
Let's not get
It's tough. It's tough.
No, you know what? If you look at their All Pros and you look at their PFF grades, I believe Jason Kelsey is higher. Like, he is. I know he's been in the league longer, but he has more All Pros, and I think their PFF grades are at least close. Like, you'd be surprised.
Well, you know, he's part of that core four. Those core four guys that have been there for a hot minute, and they were there in their Super Bowl. They've been there for, you know, him and oh my God, the other defensive.
Oh, Fletcher Cox,
and yeah, there's like four of them that have been there for a hot minute, and they're very good at what they do. And they, you know, I think he's a great player. But when you talk about, let me tell you something. If you talk about fantasy football, the more leagues you're in, the worse it is if you don't draft Travis Kelsey. I am so sick of playing every week against Travis Kelsey because you're in like 4 or 5 leagues, and if you don't have him, you pretty much can play him every week, and it's a disaster. So, like, if you don't draft him, just stay in like 2 leagues, because that's my advice there.
I got to read this comment. Puff, pass kick. This time the Rock is going to zip line down to the field. An atomic elbow drop hurts on his ankle to balance things out. It does feel like WWE a little bit. Like, I've always bitched about the Super Bowl because I don't like that 40-minute halftime show. Like, I do think it kills rhythm. And, like, for us, we're obsessed with football. I know it's like more for like average.
I mean, except when you have people like Madonna doing the Super Bowl halftime show, this shit with like, you know, Maroon 5 and whatever, you know, when you have like Madonna or my boy Justin Timberlake, or when you had like Michael Jackson doing it, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. That's a show. You know, you're too young for Michael Jackson, Michael.
I think they're upgrading with Rihanna a little bit.
Man in the Mirror is on my playlist. I said Man in the Mirror.
Who's doing the Super Bowl halftime this year?
Rihanna.
Is she? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
She's solid, I think. But I will say, like, if you're a fan or if you're a player and you got to sit for 35 minutes in the middle of a football game, like, dude, good luck to you. Like, I'd be so pissed off if you told me I had to wait half an hour for a Panthers game to resume. Like, that'd kill the vibe. That'd kill the mood I was in. And, like, if you're a player, that kills the energy. Like, you got to, you know, sit there for 20 minutes, re-warm up and all that. Like, 15 minutes, 10 minutes is the perfect time for a halftime. And anything longer than that, I feel like you're just killing the vibe of the game.
Listen, last year's was pretty dope because they had Mary J., they had Eminem. And listen, I was at a party with like 40 people, and a bunch of them got kids and something, and they were like, "This doesn't look like Rihanna." Like, they didn't even know who Mary J. was. Talking about Mom Spaghetti, they're like Mom Spaghetti. I think I've heard that Mom Spaghetti song. They didn't know, you know what I'm saying? They didn't know who these people were. It was old school, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s. But that was a dope show last year. Like, I really liked that show last year. And
I'll be honest, I don't remember
it. The Madonna's. Madonna's was a great show too.
I don't remember last year's halftime show.
Oh my God, that's because you're
I was gone by halftime. That's what happened.
No,
I wasn't.
Like,
no.
Like I was out of it mentally. Like I had too many.
Here's
in
the
the first
thing,
half.
though. With
I
that
literally had
long,
to rewatch the entire game.
With that long of a halftime show, anybody can really regroup.
That's true. Ask the Patriots.
That's a lot of right.
I mean, you could pretty much make a whole new game plan at that point.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just 15 minutes where normally, like, you have 15 minutes to just figure shit out and be like, all right, well, we're running the ball for the rest of the game, whatever. You actually have a good, like, 45 minutes to sit there and, like, figure out something else or, switch shit up a little bit. So, in my opinion, and
you know what? Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but this is really this whole segment of like the halftime and the hype for the game leading up to it. This is really the only advantage that I think the Chiefs like 100% definitely have, like experience. Like this Eagles team, for the most part, they're all pretty young, and most of them have never been to a Super Bowl before. The Chiefs have been here multiple times. They know how to handle this. They know how to handle a 30-minute halftime. They know how to handle these, these 2 weeks of 8-hour press conference days. The Eagles really don't. And, if there's one advantage that the Chiefs could have, it's that.
The last time the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl, Nick Foles won.
You mean the Eagles?
Or the Eagles. I'm sorry. The Eagles. They won with Nick Foles.
That was a great Super Bowl, by the way.
That was a great one.
Dude, I just remember, like, about that game, like, even though, like, we all thought the Eagles were probably going to lose, like, you just knew that team was going to come in there and fight. And it was like, you really had reason to look forward to that game, even though Nick Foles was in there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. With Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' injury wouldn't be so dramatic if there weren't so many other crucial injuries on that field, on his team.
Well, a guy in the chat, Lauren, was saying, who else does Mahomes throw to besides Kelsey? And I guess that's been my question all week. And before I kick it to you, also, like, I did see some people, I think Kai-Fi was talking about it. He was saying, like, he thinks the Chiefs are going to run the ball better. And while I think you have to run the ball against the Eagles front seven, I've just never seen Andy Reid do it before, and he's not one to stay committed. So those are two questions that I have. That's what
especially in the Super Bowl too.
And here's the thing, like Travis Kelsey, he's great. He's a magician over there. But if they're going to double up on him, I can't see Sky Moore or banged up Juju, or I don't know who. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't see that working. So, I mean, because you're going to have to double up on Kelsey. You're going to have to. Like, you can't, Jason Kelsey is going to be screaming, double him up, double up my brother. Like, he's going to be screaming to double up on Kelsey. Like, I mean, they know to do that. Every team should know to do that. Look at it, with his record. So if you double up on Kelsey, you can only run.
I don't know. I feel like even if you double Kelsey, I think he and Mahomes can still find ways to beat you. Like,
I think Eagles got good safeties, though.
They do. But my thing is this. One, the Eagles are very big. Like, their whole philosophy on defense is to stop the big play. And Kelsey eats that underneath stuff. He eats those, 5-yard outs that go for 15 yards. And the other thing, too, like, I think Kelsey's going to go over on catches simply for the fact that these Chiefs wide receivers are not beating these Eagles corners at all. Like, the only matchup advantage I see on the outside for Kansas City is if MVS just happens to run by James Bradbury, because Bradbury's kind of slow. Like, that's the only matchup advantage I see the Chiefs having on the outside. So I think Mahomes is going to be forced to have to go to Kelsey and go to his running backs. Bet
And
the
I
over
don't,
on McKinnon.
and
too.
I don't know who the hell's going to cover A.J. Brown and the other guy.
Well, I think
Yeah.
Snead is a chance. I think Snead can contain Brown a little bit, but Devontae Smith, I don't know what they're going to do for him.
Well,
Smith's gonna have
that's
a
why
big-
I think they're going to leave.
Well, then you've
Xavier.
got Dallas Goedert. You have Dallas Goedert too. So
Yeah.
you have
Can we-
Goddard.
That's why we're hitting the Dallas Goedert player props. If there's anything we bat, we're batting his player props this game.
I agree.
That
But
scares me, though, because if the Eagles run the ball a lot, he may not get the opportunity.
But that's one thing I think a lot of people don't realize. You're kind of right about that, but I think he's Hurts' favorite target. And I just wanted to respond to a comment. Listen, I was skeptical about Nick Sirianni, and I do think he could be a little bit clenched this game. But from everything I've seen from him, I trust him. And his offensive coordinator is really good. I'm blanking on the name. And like you can see the coaching, the first 15, 20 plays that they script don't lie. Eagles have been the best in the league by far. So
And wait a second, Michael, let me piggyback off of that for a second before I lose my thought. If their plan is to run the ball against Kansas City this whole game, they're going to fail. Because
Really?
one thing that, yes, you can't. They will fail. Because you have got to get up and get points against Kansas City, because you could be down, you could be ahead 21 points. You still can't just run. That guy will come back. That team will come back from behind. The scariest thing I have for Philly right now is being ahead by 14 at the half.
I disagree. I think
They
if you
will
put
not
Kansas
win
City-
by running the ball. They won't win by
I think
running
if
the
you
ball.
put Kansas City, if you make, this is the only time maybe ever that you can say this, but I think if you put Kansas City in pass first situations, they will not be comfortable, because there's not one matchup on this Chiefs offensive line that you can say that they will definitely win. Like across the board, this Eagles pass rush is so good and so deep. For starters, I don't know who the heck is going to block Hassan Reddick. Like, that is going to be a
Right.
mismatch no matter
But the
where he lines up.
Eagles have got to run up the score early, and they're not going to be doing it by just running the whole time. They have to. They can't leave it to where it's a 2-score game. They cannot.
I think,
they can't
honestly,
do it.
I think they might have more success running the ball than they will throwing the ball. Because
I don't think.
Spags is going to come out, and I think he's going to employ some zone blitzes against Hurts, and that might throw
They're
him
gonna-
off a little bit.
They're going to have run-pass balance. They're going to have to mix it up. They can't just
Oh,
sit
yeah, I
there
agree
and
with
run. They'll stack up the box, and you're not going to get as many points. You're going to slow the game down, and you're not going to get as many points. And if it's one thing anyone's learned against this year, is it doesn't matter how much you're up, you have to keep the pedal to the metal. You can't just slow down because you're ahead by 2 touchdowns or 2 scores or whatever. You can't. We've learned that this year, and especially against this Chiefs team.
Yeah, and
They're-
the Eagles have
they're
had a
gonna
lot
have
of
to do it.
games. Philly's had a lot of games where they've been up by multiple scores. Like, Lawson, you remember early in the year, I'm sure, where they've been up multiple scores and found a way to let a team backdoor cover. But in the playoffs and over the
no
last couple
joke.
months, they figured out how to close leads. And this offensive line is so dominant. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen such a good and entertaining to watch offensive line. Like, across the board, they can close games.
You're absolutely right, but you got to remember who you're playing against. I know that we just, it's not a double negative here, but it is Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes. They will find ways to score, and I know that if you double him up, like we said, who else are you throwing to? He's gonna find ways. So he's not as effective as he's been all year, but he's gonna find ways to score. Andy Reid will find some ways to score. So you cannot let off the gas. You cannot let off the gas when you're up. You can't. You just can't. You see this team. This team. Look what the Jags did against the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? So if it's one thing we've learned this, well, I'm just telling you. Look what Indy did or Minnesota came back on Indy. I'm just saying, if it's one thing we learned this year, you can't let off the gas, and you're just going to have to keep pounding it. Still try to get turnovers. Still try to get the ball possession. Still try to win the possession battle. Get after Mahomes as much as possible. Don't let him drop back. You're just going to have to. So they're going to have to stay. They're going to have to stay aggressive. That team will have to stay aggressive.
But don't you think the Eagles are kind of built to play with the lead, especially when you look at their defensive line? I feel like if I had to trust one team with the lead in this league, it probably would be the Eagles. But I think you have a point, especially with the way this year's been. And it seems like, just to get in here, if the Eagles are up like 14, 17 points, this is when you live bet the Chiefs. Now, is the Chargers example the greatest in the world? No, but if you live bet the Chiefs every single time teams have gotten double-digit leads on them, you'd be a rich man right now. So
you'd be sitting in coast. Yeah, you'd be sitting on the coast somewhere. No shit, and that's what I'm saying. So if the Chiefs are up, let's say it's 21-10 at the half, I'm definitely live betting the Chiefs. Because
you gotta live bet.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. And everyone should have here's the thing I don't like, Lauren, just because you got a lot of bettors here. Like, the thing I don't like is when people they live bet when they don't have a plan. You got to have, I think, the live betting plan in this game. If the Chiefs get down 10, 14 points, you live bet them and you see where you end up.
At least to cover, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All day.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, okay, so maybe the Jags isn't the best example, but it's still an example. Minnesota's an example. You know what I mean? There's so many times, and the Chiefs are 1,000% better than both of those teams for the most part. So and Patrick Mahomes will not just lay down and die. He is not going to be down 2 possessions or 2 scores or whatever, and just you'd be like, that's a wrap. Andy Reid won't allow it, first of all, and neither will Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes will not come out of that game. You know how stubborn he is. So they're going to – the more that I think about this, the more I feel like somehow they're going to miracle their way out of this shit. But I'm still on the Eagles, but don't count that Chiefs team out. And if the Eagles, at any point in time, if they let off the gas because they're ahead, which I don't think they would do because Nick Sirianni's smarter than that, but if they do, that's it. They're done. They're cooked. They will lose.
What's your game plan if you're the Chiefs on offense? What do you even do going in this game? For me, it's try to establish the run and get into situations where you can convert third and shorts.
And to me,
yeah,
I agree too. And they're going to have to be creative also. Throw some gadgets in there.
And do they're going to have to do rollouts and play fakes to take the pressure off that offensive line.
Whether it's punting and not punting and throwing, or field goal attempt and throwing, they're going to have to be creative. And they've got 2 brilliant people as their quarterback and coach to be creative. So, but don't be surprised if you see some shit like that. Instead of an extra point, all of a sudden he throws it for 10 yards. Somebody, you know what I mean? Something like that. They've got to be creative, especially if they get behind.
Yeah, any last words on the Super Bowl? And what are your off-season plans? Lauren, do you bet anything in the off-season?
I play poker.
But you don't bet baseball? Do you like baseball?
My father was a Major League Baseball umpire. Of course I like baseball.
But you don't bet baseball?
No, never would.
I don't touch anything besides football, and I'll be honest, I rarely even touch football. Just because how chaotic the league is.
I do the college basketball brackets. I do brackets, which will be coming up soon, right? That's usually right after. So I do those. I'm a Jayhawks fan. But that's really pretty much it. I do the brackets. I love baseball. I watch baseball in the off season. I'm a big Yankees fan. So, I watch it. I don't bet anything. I don't have any. Are you kidding me? This football season is like a part-time job.
It really is.
Between
That's
everything
why I don't
you've
watch
got
college.
Between everything you've got to do with fantasy, last man survivors, podcasts, collecting everyone's money, the pick four that I'm in, the regular bets you want to do at the window. Between all, I'm ready for a break. Like after Super Bowl, I'm ready for the DraftKings lineup. Like it's a damn part. It's almost a freaking full-time job. It's a lot of work. Like I hardly
Lawson,
see my husband during football season.
I don't know how you do, like how you confidently pick every game every year. I could never, just because I could never find the time to watch all that film.
Yeah, man, it's because people. Luckily, I don't have to go to a 9 to 5, and luckily, like when I did work regular, I didn't really have much of a life, so I would just stay at home watching sports, which is fine with me. And then, like, thirdly, it has gotten harder. I gotta say, when I was
upsets happen more now.
Yeah. And then someone's got to do it. Like I listen to a betting podcast and they'll pick 3 games, like, okay, like I'm going to get ripped. I'm going to get absolute shredded, but that's, someone has to pick the games and some people like fading me. Some people like listening to, because who's going to talk about the Cardinals at the Falcons week 14?
And the best part, and the worst part about it is, listen, they'll talk about all the primetime games, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Like, what do you think we do all day on Sunday? We wait for Sunday night. I don't, and I sure as hell don't bet anything on Thursday. So I'm not,
Well, we've been saying that rule for 3 years. People finally realized this year.
But we've actually been decent on Thursday night this year.
Listen,
if you've been paying attention, like, Thursday night games have been with us this year.
Listen, Amazon Prime got shafted this year with their Thursday night games. They paid a lot of money to get this going, and they got effing shafted. Dude, and I would not be surprised if they don't do it next year, because they got screwed. The NFL just stuck it right to them this year.
I gotta ask someone a question. Oh, sorry to cut you off. I gotta ask someone a question. So Avon's saying baseball is the best sport to bet in the world. Just have to ask a question. Do you bet the full 9 innings, or are you like Jay Sepp? Do you bet the first 5.5? Like the first 5.5, 6 innings, whatever that bet is, makes a lot more sense than betting the 9. I just wanted to see. Go on.
I've seen too many baseball games go into 13 and 14 innings for me to sit there and watch, do that shit. Coming from someone who's been watching baseball their entire life, baseball paid for me to go to college, and my dad was, like I said, a Major League Baseball player. So, my dad was in the big leagues since 1978 or 9, when I was born in 81. So I was born into the big leagues, and I've been traveling and I've been to almost every American League city there is. I've watched so much baseball in my life, Lawson. I probably could write a book. So no, my father is not Angel Fernandez. But I know I look Spanish and all. Everyone thinks I'm Latino, but no. But
oh my gosh,
in all
that's
actuality, I've seen so much baseball in my life that it's a part of me. I love it, but I would never touch it with a gambling aspect, because to me it's too it's risky. B, I just wouldn't feel right. I guess I wouldn't feel right doing it. And 2 and 3, it's just, baseball is the longest season of any sport. It's 8 months out of the year. That's a long time. Dude. Could you? And then it falls into football season. How in the hell are you going to manage all of that shit together? No thanks. I have a full-time job already. Thank God I don't have any kids, because if I did, I'd be the world's worst mother there is. So quite frankly, no, I don't have time for anything else. Hey, I enjoy the break after NFL.
Okay, so I have a couple things. One, I want to hear y'all's MVP pick. And 2, this is probably the most degenerate bet I've ever seen, but I wanted to tell you guys about it just because it was kind of funny. And I know we have some degenerates here. But as we know, both the Kelsey brothers are playing in this game. I saw this bet on Instagram. There is, and I don't know if you all are aware of this, but Jason Kelsey's wife, Kylie, is pregnant.
Bringing her
38 weeks.
OBGYN.
Yep,
She's
38
bringing her
weeks.
OBGYN to the game.
And according to Jason Kelsey, there is a very real possibility that she will go into labor on the Super Bowl Sunday. You can bet that Jason Kelsey's wife will go into labor. If you're a degenerate and you believe that the NFL's rigged or that, like, God is wild or whatever, that is definitely the degenerate bet of the year. Go bet that Jason Kelsey's wife goes into labor.
Listen, you can bet the weather. That's how degen this gets. You can bet the forecast. If
you
it's, you know what I mean? In any state. Yeah, I know.
Dude, I think one of my favorite bets that I did a couple years ago is that you can bet if the returner returns the kick on the opening kickoff of the game. And I think you should always just bet yes. Because no returner is going to sit there and be like, I'm not touching this in the Super Bowl.
Right. And it pays well, too, if you hit that.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
It pays.
I've seen it happen 2 times in my memory.
I mean, don't put the house on it, but it's a good little, like, this will probably happen.
And here, if I can leave anybody with any advice before I go, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. This Super Bowl right here, I would tell everybody to be very cautious. Do not overextend yourself with any bets in this game. Don't.
Oh, God, they're going to get drinks in at really early at 4:30. Then they're going to do it anyway.
Listen, do not spend your bankroll on this game. Do not risk everything you've made on this game. It's one game. It might be the Super Bowl, but if we've learned anything at all, that especially in these playoffs, just be smart about it, because there is a lot of action. You can throw some stuff here and there, props and overs, unders, but please do not spend your bankroll on this game, because I would throw up if I heard anybody did.
Hey, I told you this, Lauren, but we got to give Campbell his credit for that call a couple weeks ago. He said Joe Burrow would throw 2 interceptions, and everyone laughed at him. And sure enough,
and you know what's funny?
Right to 2 rookies.
You know what's funny is after we hung up, I said, it seems like.
Dude, it was legendary. I was so hyped when that happened. I was really thinking about Campbell the whole time.
Oh my God! Michael Mann tried video chatting me when it happened just to see my reaction. Are you seeing this, Lauren? I'm like, of course I'm seeing this.
Dude, it was awesome. But no, real talk though. Like, I know we've kind of hated on that Kansas City secondary today, but let's not forget they put up a heck of a fight against those Bengals receivers. And I don't think people are talking about that enough. That's a rookie secondary over there that was missing its best piece, and they actually went up against Jamar Chase and I'm blanking on his name, and T. Higgins, and held their own. So I think that's something that we can't really forget about going in this game.
And if I could tell anybody else too, is not for nothing, is I know I don't want to get too much offside, but if anybody didn't see the NFL honors last night, anyone that was betting that Damar Hamlin was dead and not really alive, the man came out there and spoke, and he's very much alive. So
that whole thing was so cringe.
That whole thing was just a total bunch of shit. And, congrats to people like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner on the same team, winning their stuff. I think Mahomes won, didn't he?
Well, yes. When Cam Jordan literally started singing about Sean Payton, that's when I was like, I'm done. I turned it off after that. That was, oh boy.
It was all right though. But Damar Hamlin is very much alive, and the guy walked out there himself. It was very Ryan Shazier like, when Ryan Shazier came out and walked and stuff like that. So it was good. But I gotta bounce, guys. I hope everybody has a good off season. I hope you all enjoy the Super Bowl. I can't wait to talk and see you guys next year. Maybe the Saints will be a little bit more exciting. Maybe Derek Carr is going to come to the States. Maybe Derek Carr is going to come to the Saints. And I really hope he does. I like him. I hope he does. So we're winning that division next year.
Yeah, thank you guys
Oh,
for coming
really?
on the show all year. Appreciate it.
We're winning that division. Be prepared. You have no CMC.
Okay.
You have nothing. I don't even know who your
Okay.
quarterback's going to be.
Apparently, I mean, all we have to do to beat the Saints is complete 5 passes, and that's all you got to do. That's what 2022 taught me.
Well, I am curious
This
who the
year.
Panthers quarterback would be because the defense should be good.
That's what I'm asking.
No, yeah, and our
Who's your-
coaches aren't looking bad. Like,
Who's throwing the ball?
what, for Carolina? I think they're either going to re-sign Sam Darnold and get like an Anthony Richardson
No,
or dude, no, Sam Darnold's I'm telling y'all right now, like I know we make fun of him, and I know I've kind of like jokingly hyped him up this year, but he really wasn't bad last year. Like if you look at his numbers, you look at his I don't want to say
He
his
played
development
4 games. I mean,
yeah,
he
Mike,
played like
come
7
on.
games. Look at
What are you
look at his
basing
numbers.
this
He
off
threw 8
of?
touchdowns, 3 picks. Film. Look at you can watch.
What are
you
you?
can watch
What are
him.
you basing
He's not
this off
making as
of?
many turnover plays. What?
Oh God, you're basing this off of
He actually has pocket
handful.
presence now. He actually is not throwing the ball to the defender. He's not running out of the pocket for no reason. He actually knows when to run and when to throw. Like he actually looks like a legit quarterback.
You
Like,
guys
go
will
on.
have. You guys will have a high enough draft pick.
Dude,
You'll
I'm gonna
get
send
somebody.
y'all some film in a couple days
No,
and
but
show
Mike,
y'all.
it's 4 games. What she said is completely relevant. The 4-game pump. Joe Webb came in and won like 3 games for the Vikings before the 4-game bump isn't. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was like half a season, wasn't it? I think it was way
No.
more than 4
It
games.
wasn't
No,
that
no,
many games.
No, it was way less than half. He literally, like, I mean, I almost want to say it was a cup of coffee. Like, it really wasn't enough of a sample size for me to think anything otherwise. But, hey, I hope he's your quarterback next year. Good luck to you guys. I hope he's your quarterback.
Honestly, I don't
So-
think they'll keep him just because it's a new coach and all that. But I'm telling y'all, he really was not that bad last year.
I don't know, man.
I don't
He's,
know about
he's a number 2, and he's an expensive number 2. Like, got a lot of young
That is
defensive
true.
players to sign. Just go at Walker and just move on.
There are plenty of people that need homes. Jimmy G is one of them. Okay.
Bro, if we
He
sign
needs a
Jimmy
home.
G, I'll be so mad. Like, honestly, I think Sam Darnold is better than Jimmy G. Like, just based off of what I
Have
saw
you
last year.
lost your mind?
No, Mike.
Have
come
you
on,
lost
man.
your mind?
It's Kyle Shanahan's scheme. Are you kidding me?
He also played
Jimmy
for the
G-
Patriots. What is wrong
Yeah.
with
Mike,
you? You're
I
gonna
expect better from you. There's no way you would say anything like this during the regular season. Like the
Michael!
offseason.
Bro,
I need to
y'all have
leave.
seen
I'm out of here. I don't know where this
Bro,
is
Yeah,
going
the
or
offseason
how we
is-
got here. I'm
Normally,
out, dude.
Lord, normally this kicks in like April. Everyone's like, oh, like everyone's gonna get better, and
Bro,
you know,
I'm telling you. No, watch his tape. Like, there was legit development from him. Like,
Okay,
I'm not just
Michael,
overhyping
Michael,
him.
I hope you get your wish. I hope you keep Sam Darnold is your quarterback next year. God bless you. I hope he is. Because
man,
wherever Jimmy G is, if he makes the 2 wherever, he will make some division's life miserable because he wins games. Sam Darnold does not freaking win games. Okay?
Bro, I'm gonna send y'all tape. Wait, he was 1 win away from nearly stealing the division last year. Like, I know the South sucked, but at the same time, you gotta give some a little credit here.
For what? He didn't play more than 4 games.
yeah,
No,
no,
he-
like PJ Walker was the one who got most of the. He got PJ
Yeah,
Walker had to
yeah,
get 3 of those.
Yeah, if you're
wins.
smart, you'll hang on to that guy.
Yeah,
PJ
like,
Walker
someone
played
look
like
that
2
up.
games. If PJ Walker was so good, why did Wilkes bench him?
But he's not good.
Well,
What-
no,
why
I
is
know.
he-
I'm not
why
saying
is-
he's good, but
Panthers
if
Hold on a
can run the
second.
football.
Hold on a second. If Wilkes was so good, why isn't he still there?
because David Tepper's an idiot, that still pisses me off.
Yeah, made me mad.
That
Oh,
I will
oh,
I
they
will
booked that
gladly
then.
say Steve Wilkes should have that job right now.
Yeah, and they're gonna get sued.
Listen,
for
I-
it, so.
Are we gonna do this during the draft?
Yeah, no,
I-
you can come on. We can talk about it.
Yeah, you guys want to come on during the draft? Okay. So hit me up in April when the draft comes because Michael, I want Carolina to skip over a quarterback so that you get your wish.
Again.
And I will and here's the thing, I will send you I will send you an edible arrangement when that happens, so that you get that way you get stuck with Sam Darnold, or as you say, happy with Sam Darnold.
Let me say, I'm
be
not
your quarterback.
advocating for us to not draft a quarterback. I'm just saying if we have to re-sign a veteran guy, I would not hate it being Sam Darnold. That's all I'm saying. I'm not
Hey,
saying
God
he's a
bless you,
franchise
man.
guy. I'm not saying he's
And-
like top 15 or any of that crap. I'm saying he
And
was
you
decent toward the
said
end
you
of
would
last year.
take him over Jimmy G. Your words were you
Yes.
think he's better than Jimmy G.
Do you understand how good Kyle Shanahan is? Kyle Shanahan took the last pick in the draft and took him to the NFC Championship. I don't think how good Kyle Shanahan is as an offensive mind is talked about enough. And Jimmy G has literally held that team back for the last 3-4 years.
Jimmy G went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, dude, he literally completed 6 passes to get there. I don't think Jimmy G's all that special.
And Jimmy G came in after week 1 or whatever and was winning until he got hurt. So I don't want to hear that BS. You still have to execute. That's trash. That's garbage. And let me tell you something. I hope you don't get him. I hope you don't get him.
Jimmy G? Yeah, I don't want him either. Jimmy G's going to get a fat contract too.
He's somewhere. And I hope you're stuck with Sam Darnold, and I hope you're happy about it. Because that's, in my opinion, that's I want you to get your wish.
I know you guys are very disappointed in me, but I'm telling you, he's not that bad. Look,
Hey,
listen,
man.
y'all know, when Baker was playing trash, I told y'all,
yeah, but you were excited about Baker too, because
no, I was never excited about Baker.
No, I remember. You were excited, but you were like, okay, this might be decent. I told you it was going to suck.
Yeah, I saw.
And when does Baker get good? When he left Carolina.
Yeah, that's Matt Rule for you. That's all Matt Rule for you.
And what happened to him? He
Thank
got
God
dumped. Wilkes got dumped.
Gone.
I mean, I don't even know. Your seats will be free this year.
What?
Your seats in the stadium will be free next year.
I'll be there. Watch.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I would be really concerned about Frank Reich if he vouched for Sam Darnold. You got Matt Corral already. Eventually he's going to have to be your number 2. And if there's ever a year to draft a quarterback, it's this one. I know fuck all about the draft, so I only follow wide receiving prospects. But you got to think. It's very quarterback heavy. It's and I think Chicago already traded their first round number 1 pick. I think they already traded. It's very quarterback heavy. You got Bryce Young coming up. The kid from Clemson, I don't know how healthy he is. We'll see. You got him coming out. Stetson Bennett, I'm sure, from Georgia is coming up. I mean, the guy's 26 already, so you might as well be.
I went 100% for drafting a quarterback.
I'm a Georgia fan. Yeah. So this is really, and you guys did draft Matt Corral last year. So I mean, at some point in time, you might need to cut the umbilical cord with Sam Darnold. But hey, my opinion, I hope he starts every game next year. Every game.
All I'm saying is that if they want to use him as the bridge guy, that's fine with me. But I 100% am behind drafting a quarterback. My number 1 target right now is Anthony Richardson. That dude's upside is so high. Oh my gosh, he's going to enter the league with a top 10 arm and top 10 athleticism. That guy's insane. And
he's very, very good.
My biggest fear is that none of the top 4 guys are going to make it to 9. That's my big fear. And I don't know if the Panthers have the balls to trade up to 6 to get one.
You're going to have to trade. You're going to have to trade up. You're going to have because teams like Houston, Chicago, we already know doesn't need a quarterback, but teams like Houston and Indianapolis and all these other teams, they're all going to draft quarterbacks. So same thing. I think Washington drafts one too. We'll see, but you're gonna have to draft up.
It's gonna be fun. This is a good year.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good luck. Hit me up. Yeah, hit me up before the draft, and we'll all get together.
I'll get you on. See you, Mike. See you, Lauren.
See you guys. Sorry about the Sam Darnold tirade.
Bye.
Peace out, y'all.
Yep. That was some good.